Rakesh Sharma of Bajaj Auto joins us, and this is ET Now on the go. We are in the city of Pune, and apart from just talking about Bajaj Auto, what we also would like to bring out for our viewers is that why has Pune really emerged as the base for auto manufacturing, and going forward in terms of scale and scalability, how much more that can go. So Mr. Sharma, first, thank you for having us over. We've always looked at Pune as the go-to city when it comes to the manufacturing space, and especially auto. What is so special about Pune that makes it perhaps the Detroit of India?
Thank you, Nikunj, for having us on the show. Pune is actually quite a delightful city. First of all, it has got great climate. It lies in a rain shadow area, so it doesn't have torrential rains, but it has lovely weather. And that, I think, would have attracted the people first, which is how the cantonment side of Pune came in. And I would say that we have to credit the pioneers with the start of the industrialization of Pune, which are, the families of Kirloskars, Bajaj, Firodiyas, and the Kalyanis, and people like that, who came from different places and set up their industries. And then so on and so forth. And since then, you have a very eclectic mix. You have the corporate crowd, you have the military, the armed forces crowd, you have a good art and culture segment with FTII and etc. So it's really a very, very good mix of people. And therefore, more and more people keep getting attracted to the Pune proposition.
Okay. If I take the clock back 5 years ago, less than 10% of your total profits were coming from exports. That number is nearing 50% now, and 46% of the total top line, according to the last data, was coming from exports. That has worked like a charm for you. But have you reached a peak? Because you are there in almost 100 countries now. Your distribution network is set up. Those countries where you are present have the unique problems. So my point is that what has worked like a charm for you in terms of creating a leverage, in terms of giving you a fillip, has that edge now going to get blunted going forward?
Well, first of all, you are right. Almost half of our production is exported to over...
Which is a great strategy.
Thanks for that. To over 90 countries. We don't get into segmental level profits, so I will sort of skip that data point. But yes, exports is a very substantial part of our business, and it's reflected in everything which we do, whether it is in the people we deploy or in our product development strategies, etc. I think that the export opportunity is just unfolding.
Okay.
We are far from seeing it getting exhausted. Because of the same reasons which I sort of alluded to when we were talking about India. If you take a continent like Africa, Africa, the scope for the two-wheelers in parts of Latin America, parts of Africa, is enormous. The story has just started over there. And the story is just one about good quality product being available for the African customers. The moment retail finance comes in, and there are countries like Uganda and Kenya, where retail finance, organized retail finance has made its appearance. When that lever steps in, we will see a shift in the expansion of business in Africa. And also in, I would say, in Latin America or the emerging markets of the world. So I would say that we are in a very fortunate position that we have got substantive positions in many, many, many countries. And as the macroeconomic issues and the clouds, the dark clouds sort of blow over, we will again see a growth prospect there. Now, having said all this, the nature of the international business is such that it is more volatile because, because of technological factor, because of macroeconomics, because of the geopolitics which is there, it's not going to be a linear growth. It's going to be a snake in the tunnel. It's going to be up and down and up and down. So it's not for participating in the international business, not for the faint-hearted. It is not for the trader. It is not for the person who is short-sighted. This is for manufacturers. This is for people who have a genuine commitment to a global play. And that is what Bajaj is all about. So I would say that the emerging markets story is far from exhausted. It holds a lot of potential still, and we are very optimistic about it. But we don't think it is going to sort of play out very rapidly. There are going to be ups and downs, and we will go through them.
So the down what you see in the last quarter, was that a one-off?
Well, the down cycle commenced really in the beginning of last year, which is FY23, in I would say April, May, June, when when there were changes which the Fed made, and the dollar became strong, and then there was weakening of a lot of emerging market currencies, which had two consequences. One was that there was devaluation in these countries, which meant there was inflationary pressures. And the second was that the central banks in these emerging markets took a very cautious position and started to preserve their dollars. And, so availability of dollars for international trade sort
Has that changed
reduced.
For you?
And that sort of set the whole cycle in the other direction. We are seeing some, let me say, bottoming out of this in the last 2-3 months, and now we are not seeing a rapid return to the period of FY21 and FY22 as yet. But as, like I said, the macroeconomics sorts itself out, and if there is no further geopolitical tension, because the fundamental drivers will start to kick in. And again, I think the pendulum here also hopefully will shift, but difficult to say exactly when that thing starts to gather pace.
Okay. So the domestic sales are coming back. So
Yes.
the pendulum has started shifting.
Correct.
Export, the pendulum has swung and now it has to shift. So
Yes.
can I safely assume that the second half for Bajaj Auto, with both these businesses coming back on track, will be significantly better or will be marginally better than the first half?
I would say that the domestic business is definitely showing signs. There is a tailwind of the industry going.
Significant or increment?
I would say not significant. But it would be good, solid recovery. I'm not a great fan of these V-shaped recoveries, because the sharper and the steeper the recovery is, there could be a problem. It's better for everyone, for the entire ecosystem, for the dealers, for the vendors, for the company, to see a robust recovery, even if it is a flatter recovery. We are seeing that happen. When I'm saying to you that it is a 3 to 5% single-digit positive, it's a nice recovery to see. And in that, the top half of the segment is a higher single digits, 8 to 9% recovery.
Which is 125 plus.
Which is the 125cc plus. And in that, the kind of lineup which we have is substantially greater than what our competitors have. So we have a range of products from 125cc to 400cc, which are able to satisfy different kinds of customers. The kind of pipeline which we have for addressing this segment is also really rich and flowing. And when I put all this together, the tailwind of the industry, the stronger tailwind in the top half, our presence over there, our pipeline over there, I can say that there's reason to be optimistic about the second half in domestic. The three-wheeler business has made a very, very strong comeback as the traffic
Yes.
has come.
Yes.
In the three-wheeler business, our market share has now gone up to 80%.
That's a cash cow for you.
Absolutely, it's a great engine, and it is on the back of great products, which are combining very well with the government's initiative of growing the CNG network, and the customer, the three-wheeler driver, the cargo driver adopting to the CNG-driven products very well and coming in vast numbers to us. So that recovery is very, very robust for us. Exports has bottomed out. It's not following the same trajectory and pace of recovery as the domestic business, but hopefully step by step that is also coming back. So there I would say that, yeah, incremental to marginally incremental, but domestic better than exports.
Okay, I'll open another layer now, and that is the EV, electric vehicle. You've made entry, and now legacy players are coming into EV. What are the chances that Bajaj Auto and the legacy players, they may just start cannibalizing their ICE engine sales while EV will do well? What are the chances that you may cannibalize your own portfolio when you're building your EV portfolio?
Well, Nikunj, first of all, we were one of the first of the larger companies to actually put out EV scooter, which we did in 2019. At a very macro level, let me say at a philosophical level, it is not really up to us to decide whether, we will cannibalize or we will not cannibalize. It is really up to the customer. If the customer adopts the EV, then we better be ready. Our mission is to be, a leader in two-wheeled and three-wheeled mobility on a global basis. And to stay true to that mission, whether it is a gasoline-driven vehicle, whether it is a CNG-driven vehicle, whether it is a battery-driven vehicle, we better be on top of these technologies. That is the way we are looking at it. But if I just sort of narrow it down and make it a little bit more transactional, at least in the short term, it opens up a very good opportunity for Bajaj Auto. Because the transition in EV is first happening in scooters.
Yes.
Because of the form and because of the
comfort,
space and, which is there to keep the battery and for various reasons. It is the scooters which are transitioning, as you know, to electric powertrains. This is an area which we have not been in India, as you know, and in places like ASEAN, which are after India and China, ASEAN is the largest two-wheeler market. But it is entirely step-throughs and scooters, which we have never been able to participate in. As that also transitions to electric, it opens up an opportunity for us. So I would say that there is a tremendous new business which is coming to us. Now, if I take three-wheelers also, if I look at the three-wheeler market as purely three wheels, actually the auto is now shrunk to only 50%. Almost 50% is the e-rick.
Yes.
Which are these very light vehicles which have just come in from China and other places and plugged this huge gap which was there between demand and supply, even while the autos were being restricted by governmental action. So we could not access these markets because there was a permit regime. And on the other side, there was these cheap and easy imports which were available. And not perfect, but less than perfect solutions were given to that customer. Now with the three-wheeler also becoming EV, that whole door opens up to us and we will go back to our customers who actually took these vehicles out of a necessity because auto was not available to them. And we have a lot of evidence where people who have used an e-rick for, let's say, a couple of years, when they hear about an e-auto coming, they are very open to making that change because it's a more substantial vehicle, it's a safer vehicle, it's a more durable vehicle, it's a more comfortable vehicle, its value is there. A lot of the commercial drivers are very focused on the resale value and stuff like that. So even in three-wheelers, there is a vast opportunity which is opening up.
All right, there you have it. That's the view coming in from the big exclusive management. That is Rakesh Sharma of Bajaj Auto. He has spoken about a solid recovery in the second half of the year, talking about domestic business growth as well being very promising.